Hello and welcome to my second full play run. Today we'll be going for the pyromancer. And I gotta be honest, this isn't gonna be fun at all. Haha, no, it wasn't at all. It was horrible. And I do not suggest pyromancer for anyone that is watching this video, and you'll see why in a bit. So, as you can see, I named my character Pyrofiscal, and that is because it's based off Pyrocynical, which is a great YouTuber, you should check him out. And also because I was basically a fish the whole game. Starting off with Gunder, it went pretty smoothly, then I went into Firelink Shrine and then to Vort. At Vort I already had the Scimitar, my entire game weapon, which I obtained from the Maiden at the start of the game, and then I infused it with a Sharp Gem, which made it an S-scaling later on in the game. No. So fighting the tree was next. The tree was self-explanatory, pretty easily beaten. And I also did a full sweep on the whole zone because it helped me at least advance a bit more, because I was extremely underleveled, I was extremely bullied by enemies, I didn't have any pyromancies, it was awful. Though I have to say, the Crystal Sage was much easier than I expected. It only took me 2 tries just because I didn't get used to the hitbox on the weapon. But in on itself it was pretty easy. At Dickens of the Deep it was a bit more harder because I didn't have enough damage output to hit the enemy until it died, and it cast a spell and it staggered me. It was a vicious cycle. It took me about 5 or 6 tries. Yes, I know, at Dickens of the Deep. Don't. Now you might be wondering, why am I at the top in Farron Kick? Well, let me tell you, I am getting the soul of the Stray Demon and doing the biggest mistake of my life by getting the Boulder Heave. God, hold me up, because if you hold me down, I swear. Like, I cannot get the good spells until I finish these guys. The Boulder Heave is a pyromancy, I am allowed to use it, yes. But it is awful, it does no damage, it does a lot of stagger though. But I should have traded it for the Havel's Ring. And mindlessly I went with the Boulder Heave build until I beat the Abyss Watchers. After the Abyss Watchers I realized that I could turn back and get some more pyromancies from a tome that I didn't realize it was very close to me. If only I've gotten this pyromancy tome earlier, it would have made my life so much easier. Moving on, Abyss Watchers were a bit tanky for me, but I managed to beat them in my 3rd try. Oh god, so that was pretty good, and I can't complain about that. Moving on to Wolnir! Let me touch the cup and oh whoop, Wolnir disappeared. Anyway, this boss took me about 4 tries because he kept exploding in my face and I didn't have any armor. That's why you should get Havel's Ring. I got his soul, which I transposed into Chaos Bad Vestiges, which was the spell, the thing that carried me the whole way. If it weren't for this spell, I swear I would have lost my mind. Pontiff was an absolute pookie berry, he helped me so much, I beat him in the 1st try. But then... Yeah, baby! Woo! Well, haha, it's finally time to select my weapons and my armor and everything that I've equipped this run. Starting off, as always, I had the Silver Serpent Ring, but I started off with a ring this time, a ring that is placed to me upon by the Pyromancer class. Now let's get on to the last few items. So the last ring was the Witch's Ring, which boosts pyromancy as well. But the fourth ring was constantly switched throughout the run, so I cannot offer you anything. But I would suggest you the chlorophyll ring, that would be best.
Let's get it. Meow meow. Hello, meow meow. I'm gonna pick you up. Oh, meow meow. Okay, you can go down now. It's your choice.
Now moving on to the armor, I used the Fallen Knight armor, or the set, how do you want to call it. And as the shield, I used the Shield of Wand, which I couldn't handle with one hand, so I just kept it on my back, and switched it with the Grass Crest shield whenever I felt the need for more stamina regen. Moving on to the pyromancies. The pyromancies are really fun. I used 3 the whole game. And you might say, oh, he didn't use the right ones to deal damage and that's why he struggled so much. No! I don't care, I made myself a melee build with a little bit of pyromancy help. That's it. So the pyromancies that I used are Besh, Bash, Bosh. So what do these pyromancies do? Well, the first one is a fireball. It's pretty self-explanatory, it helped me out in early to take out the ones weak to fire. And it helped me a bit in late, just when I needed it. Then I'm moving on to the Chaos Bad Vestiges. Oh god, this pyromancy is amazing. I couldn't tell you how happy I was once I got it, because it does so much damage for no reason. I'll show you a bit of gameplay against one of the DLC bosses to see how much damage it does. As for the third pyromancy, it's the Cartus Flame Arc. The Cartus Flame Arc is a pyromancy that lets you imbue your weapon with fire. It helped me indeed. It is pretty good, it helped me at Nameless King as well. So later on in the game it proved quite useful to go with a pyromancy build. But it requires a lot of time to prepare those pyromancies to actually have some outcome with them. So if I were to say, through my opinion, I would highly suggest you not to go Boulder Heave, because Boulder Heave only helped me against one boss, and that was the Half-Light Spear Church. And it was only because the boss was a humanoid. And because he was a humanoid, basically I could have stunned him with every Boulder Heave, and that's how I beat him easily. Otherwise it would have taken me a long time. So, yeah, don't trade it for the Boulder Heave, just go with Howl's Ring and get some heavier armor. Later on, I switched my last ring, my Chlorophyll Ring, with the Howl's Ring +3, and then I got a lot of heavy armor on me, which helped me a ton with the last bosses. This was my finishing time with just the main game and the optional bosses, and it took me 7 hours 35 minutes and 3 seconds, or 2 seconds, depends on what you want. So now I will display to you the boss that I had the most frustration built up in me from. This boss just infuriated me because the hitboxes did not match up with their appearance and my attacks weren't hitting them. It took me about 7 or 8 tries, I think. But eventually I got it down, and I can also show you here how the Chaos Bad Vestiges performs against somebody who is weak to fire.
Cold as ice. Ooh.
Surprisingly enough, Frida was way more easy than I thought it was going to be, because I just suffered continuously in this run, and it has already been over 10 hours of gameplay, or I think like 9 hours, and to be honest, seeing her how she got down that easily just boosted me to play another 2 hours and finish the entire game. And to be fair, it was easier and easier because I had the agility, I put a lot of points into Dex, but my faith and my intelligence remained on 20, which was a decent number, realizing that my pyromancers weren't going to do that much damage against the next few bosses. I decided not to upgrade them that much. As for the Demon Prince, it was a quite easy fight, not going to lie. I used Boulder Heave. It was the only pyromancy that could have staggered them, so I used Boulder Heave to stagger them and then parry them, basically. So I did that 3 times and just completely destroyed them, so that wasn't a problem. Moving on to the next one, it was the humanoids, which didn't take me that much time, but eventually I got him down. And then comes Midir. This fight was horrible! Gotta tell you, it was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt in this game. I had to make myself a new weapon, a new scimitar, which was imbued with a lightning gem just to beat him. It took me 12 tries. 12! It was horrid! Compared to the first run, this took me an enormous amount of time. But eventually I got him down. LOL. Now we come to an end. The Gale fight was indeed a strong one. I used poison, pine resin, and eventually I got him down in about 3 or 4 tries. But I gotta say, it was an experience. I will tell you this rating on how easy I found the game to be beaten.
Like literally the perfect
and with this rating I will give it a 3.5, no, perhaps a 4. I will give it a 4. It was an excruciating road, but eventually I managed to deal more and more damage, and eventually in New Game Plus I will deal even more damage. So it's a nice build, but only for New Game Plus. So the good part of this class is that you have range, a ton of range with spells, but the cons are much greater. The cons are you deal very low damage early on in the game, but later, very late in the game, you finally start to realize how much potential the fire damage actually does, especially with the different kinds of pyromancies that you have. So later on it's better, but early on is really bad. You have to hold on to as many souls as possible. If you waste any souls or get unlucky, then you might regret it a lot. It's very squishy, it's a class that can't handle a lot of weight on its shoulders, but all in all, it's not a fun class to do, to finish the game in one day with. But in rest, it's a decent class. I had fun with it. I can't lie, I had fun with it, but due to the lack of time that I had on that stream, it made me anxious and very frustrated because I couldn't explore as much as I wanted to. I couldn't explore the catacombs as well as I wanted to, and I couldn't get the spells right. I only got the necessary spells, which weren't that great, but they did help me to finish the game. So, all in all, the class is decent. I will highly suggest it only if you want a slow-paced run. But for a fast-paced run, I would highly decline this class forever and ever. So yeah, this is my opinion. Well, thank you so much for watching, and perhaps I will see you on the next video. Bye bye!